Hello everyone, welcome to lesson number 4. In lesson number 3, we covered an overview of agile practices as well as the end-to-end flow. And I said that we will be deep diving into each of the practices after that lesson. So here we are. In this lesson, we'll talk about daily Scrum or stand-up meetings. Let's take a look at what are we going to cover in this lesson. We'll talk about what is daily Scrum, what is the purpose. Then we will discuss some exam tips or a way or mindset to look at questions which are related to stand-up. And then we will do a simple practice question. Let's get started. Okay, daily stand-up, daily Scrum. Same thing. The word scrum, I think, comes from rugby, the sport, where you must have seen that all the players they kind of huddle together to take control of the ball. So that's where this word is coming from. Daily scrums. It's like a huddle. Now, when in the project cycle it takes place every day in every iteration. So, all the time. What is stand up? What is daily scrum? It's a short time boxed meeting. It is very important to time box it, which means keep it limited, restricted to 15 minutes is the standard duration. Now, this meeting includes questions about what was done yesterday, what will be done today, and are there any blockers. Now, this is a standard format. Teams may vary it based on the project, but this is what a typical format looks like. Now, the focus of the stand up meetings is team alignment. What do I mean by that? Is that everybody knows what is happening and also identifying blockers. If somebody in the team is having an issue with one of the tasks or anything, then they can discuss it. So, identifying blockers. Purpose of stand up is to help teams commit to each other. When you talk about what you're doing, what you're going to do, there is a commitment to the goal of the project and everybody knows what is happening. Identify problems early, so you don't have to wait for something big to happen. If some blocker has been observed, it is identified by the team immediately because these meetings are happening daily. Ensure work moves smoothly through the team. So usually there are Kanban boards, task boards that the team looks at when they are having this stand-up meeting. So the work is flowing smoothly because it's discussed every day. You have to keep it short, no longer than 15 minutes, otherwise it loses its purpose. The team walks through the Kanban board. We already discussed that. And anyone on the team can facilitate the stand up. It doesn't have to be the Scrum Master all the time. It can be anyone from the team on a rotational basis, or however they decide, they can uh, discuss or they can facilitate or take the lead of the meeting. So, this is what stand up is. Now, whenever there is a question which is related to stand up, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, it's not a problem solving meeting. So, if somebody talks about some issue and they want to discuss it at length, stand up is not the meeting for that. So, it's focused on ensuring progress and identifying and resolving blockers, but not at the same time. Time boxed, that time limit has to be kept 15 minutes, no more than that, and any team member can facilitate. And questions in stand up differ in iteration based agile and flow based agile. I have not yet talked about iteration based agile and flow based agile. We'll do it when we talk about project life cycle. Basically, iteration based agile is where there are time boxes and the work is distributed in those sprints time boxes. Flow based agile is continuous, work flows continuously, and more details we will talk when we look at the difference in detail. But the questions, who is doing what and what did I do today, what did I do yesterday, that format may change in flow based agile. Okay, now let's look at a very simple, it's not a very complicated exam question, but it is similar to what you can get in your PMP exam. It basically explains how to look at a stand up question, how to think about it. So let's read the question. A team in an agile project uses daily stand ups to discuss progress and challenges. During the stand up, a member raises a blocker that needs immediate resolution. What should the team do? Okay, so immediate resolution is a keyword here, but let's see what the options are. Solve the blocker immediately within the stand up, note the blocker and discuss it in detail after the stand up, inform the product owner and wait for their resolution, delay the resolution until the retrospective meeting. Now let's look at each of them. Solve the blocker immediately within the stand up. Now that particular issue that has been raised may not need everyone's inputs in the team, and also the fact that we need to restrict the stand ups to 15 minutes, so this is not a good idea to discuss the blocker immediately in the stand up meeting. The second one says, note the blocker. Option number B says, note the blocker and discuss it in detail after the stand up. We can think about it. Look at option number C, inform the product owner and wait for their resolution. Agile teams are self driven, empowered teams. Not for every blocker you will go to the product owner. So, this is not the correct answer. Delay the resolution until the retrospective meeting. This is extremely this is not advisable at all, because first of all, retrospective meeting is done towards the end when the sprint review is done and the work for that sprint is almost over. So it's an after the fact event which talks about future improvements, and we know that this blocker needs immediate resolution, so waiting for that retrospective cannot be a good option for that. So the answer will be option number 2. They will identify the blocker in stand up, but the discussion and resolution will happen later. Okay, let's see. Yes. So answer is option number 2. Because stand-ups are not problem-solving meetings, blockers are noted and addressed outside the stand-up to keep the meeting time-boxed. This is it for this lesson. It was short, and in the next one we will continue agile practices and we'll talk about demos or sprint review meetings that we call them demos as well. All right. So see you in the next lesson. Till then, bye bye.